What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, DN Duel commentary. We have Kevin Langenberg, okay, 516 versus Pyrion 1367. Fair enough. This is Shaddolls versus Mass Heroes. Anytime I can get two decks that aren't Necros, I'm definitely going to record that. If the players look like they're good and competent. Game one was, well, when I got there, it was kind of an interesting field. Kevin summoned like a BLS. It got Fiendish Chained, and Pyrion played Armageddon Knight. He dumped a, He dumped a Zephyros. He bounced the Fiendish Chain, went Gaga Cowboy, attacked over Squamata, and then obviously he had the Fiendish Chain for the BLS, so he could just burn him for game. So unfortunately, he runs into Danko. That is a very real card. It kind of sucks. I uploaded about 4 DN commentaries that I recorded last night, and they were really, really good games. I had this one, it was like 40 minutes long. It was Burning Abyss versus like Sylvans, and the Burning Abyss player was playing like Skill Drain, and it was working and shit. And I was like, oh my god, this is why I love doing DN commentaries sometimes. But the frame rate was terrible in all the videos. Like, so I just went ahead and axed them all, and I went with the recorder. I think I fixed it. It should be it should be locked into 30 frames per second. We see a double MST. It's kind of crazy because I honestly thought after using 2 MSTs that he really wouldn't have a follow-up, and it looks like he really doesn't have a follow-up. Okay. That's a little strange to attack the Shadow Mist, considering if he plays Neo's Alias, he literally could just get it in by attacking. Maybe he's trying to force him into a fusion play. I don't understand why a lot of Heroes players don't play the one, like, the one, what's it called? The one of Neo's Alias. But it looks like he's not going to need it because he's going to L away his Danko anyway. He goes for Construct, which means, well, he gave up Falco. Construct's going to come out. He's going to need to send Squamata because he needs something else in the graveyard for Falco, obviously. Otherwise, Falco will just get attacked. And I think that you probably, even if you want to get Beast, you want other options. So I think you'd want to get Falco and Beast. I think that this matchup, like, I don't think it's that great for Heroes. Cause don't get me wrong, Dark Law does a ton against Shaddolls, but its macro effect is really what's relevant. Like it doesn't really get the add to hand effect. I mean, I guess it depends on the situation. Like if you get Dark Law and you have protection, then I guess it's really good because cards like Mathematician just aren't really that good in that situation. Mathematician being one of the best cards in Shaddolls, and you just take away that card's effectiveness completely. Now, I think it is going to be really hard for Pyrion to come back from this because Dark Law can't, like, she ain't got shit on a Construct. And obviously he loses his entire board too. So Dark Law can't kill Construct, which means you have to make a monster like Castel, something you really don't even want to summon. And then you still have to worry about the Falco getting Squamata back. So, I mean, it's really, really bad. I saw the guy at YCS Chicago. Oh, okay. I guess he was playing Neo's Alias. Shut me up. The guy at... Okay. So it looks like he's going to Mind Crush Bubble Man. The guy at, his Armageddon Knight and what's the other card? Forbidden Lance. Fair enough. I guess the guy at YCS, Chicago, who made day 2 with Dolls, or not Dolls, with Mass Heroes, he was running Royal Command, and he was like, well, you know, you can't run Shadow Mirror, obviously, in Dolls because Dark Law is dark, and so is Shadow Mist, but he was like, Royal Command, he was like, you really don't have to worry about the core monster effects in Shaddolls, you worry about the flip effects, the Falcos and the Squamatas and the Dragons when your opponent just sets them, like, those are the cards that are really just kill you, so I completely agree with that. Dark Law can get it in, but if your opponent, like, has a dragon, you have to be able to stop them from just setting it and winning. So, right now, based on what Pyrion has, I don't really see any way that he can come back. Looks like Kevin is going to Shadow Fusion, Construct, and Squamata for, I guess, another Squamata. Maybe send a Beast and a Falco from the graveyard. Now that Shaddolls are on this 3 Falco shit, man, this deck can grind something fierce, dude. Like, Falco is like one of those cards where I can't believe I ever was running one. Well, I guess I was running one because I was always like going for the OTKs, but Falco is like the card that helps you with the grind game more than any. Because Falco gets you, when your fusions die, like Falco gets you your fusions back. And especially if you run more than one Shikanaga. Because one problem Shaddolls used to have is sometimes you would, you'd run into a situation where you had like a handful of like fucking dead spells. But now if you can get Shikanaga back from Falco, or like you can convert all of those spells into just like constant divine wraths. So you never really run out of payments for her effect. It's like, oh, you have 2 L's and a fusion in hand? Let me just start negating shit left and right. Alright, so it looks like he's gonna dump Beast. I really thought he'd dump Falco. Just because, like, you have L in your hand. So it's nothing to just wait till next turn and just L the Falco plus the Hedgehog. Now, I mean, he dumped Beast, but like Squamata should dump one, and oh, he did dump Falco. Excuse me, I just missed it. Okay, I was like, if you're not dumping Falco, like, why not? Falco is just really, really good now. Obviously, he got his Shadow Fusion back. Pyrion is still no threat to get killed here. The problem is he's getting so out advantaged. That Neo's alias is practically irrelevant because it's about to get ran over. We already know his hand to be Armageddon Knight plus Lance, and even Lance wouldn't have saved him there. I mean, it still would have had 100 over, so that's kind of irrelevant. You see a set, that set is almost certainly L Shadow Fusion. Summons Armageddon Knight. I don't really know what you can do with the Armageddon Knight here. Like, you can dump Zephyros and, like, bounce the Armageddon Knight and attack the Hedgehog, but all he'll do is just... Honestly, he'll just let it die. Okay, you see Pyrion scoop there. In that situation, I think that he'd probably, like, I don't even think he would have forced out the L. I think he just would have been like, alright, I'll just let the Hedgehog die, and then I'll just OTK you next turn. Like, that's what I would have done. Like, I'd have been like, oh, okay, you're gonna set that? That's fine. I'll just let Hedgehog die, and then I'll just kill you next turn. So, we're going to game 3. And again, I really apologize about the DN commentary that's up, the Necros versus, it was Cleefort. Yeah, that's when 902 tried to go super YOLO. One of the dumbest YOLO attempts I've ever seen in my life. But, yeah, we're trying to get the frame rate up. It should be locked at 30 frames a second. So, I must have just had too much stuff running in the background. Whoa there. Did Shaddolls literally just pass with 6 cards? That should never happen. Yeah, that should never, ever happen. I was kind of surprised that Pyrion set a card or set 2 and then just passed. Alright, this could get ugly for Dolls here. Especially if he has defensive cards, because Armageddon Knight can get you pluses. So he's going to summon Armageddon Knight. He could even be running Dragon. I mean, he's not going to use Dragon now. Oh, okay, well, never mind. Effect Veiler is obviously used on Armageddon Knight. Because I was thinking maybe he would go either Shadow Mist or Zephyros, depending on what the back row is. Maybe he has like oh, well, there's Zephyros. So I guess we don't have to worry about Zephyros being sent to the graveyard. Now, the one thing is, Pyrion can't really advance the game that much more because he can't randomly exceed. Otherwise, he is literally just playing into Shadow Fusion. Like, he's just saying, hey, if you have Shadow Fusion, you win. Like, nobody wants to deal with that shit. The good thing is, you know your opponent can't match change you, so like, that's kind of good. You see him set a card, and this is where the difficulties start coming in, because, again, not really a lot of answers you have against set monsters. If you're playing mass heroes, there's no good way of taking care of that. I mean, you can largely ignore them. I'm gonna say that's Hedgehog. Oh, it's Cerberus. Okay, fair enough. So he'll eat some battle damage. Now, it being a level 3 is actually pretty good because it's pretty much no chance of him being able to exceed. Like, if that was like a level 4 guy, if he was like level 4, maybe your opponent summons a dragon, exceeds into something. But with it being level 3, like, the chances are he has no way of getting it off field unless he's going to use it for like a Shadow Fusion or something like that. So, I mean, how bad did Kevin brick? He must have just a Mathematician would really bail him out here. Mathematician might even win him the game, man. But you see him setting cards. No Dinkos, no Mathematicians. In phase MST takes care of that card. So it's Mind Crush. If Perion gets the Dark Law here, I'm gonna say the duel is. I feel like the duel is kind of even right now. Simply because Perion can't exceed, he can't risk his opponent having the Shadow Fusion and winning. But if he gets the Dark Law, then everything changes, because not only will this not hit the graveyard, but then, like, even if he has the Shadow Fusion, all his shit gets banished. All he has to do is have, like, a Mirror Force or potentially a Phoenix Chain, and he can just kind of win the duel. He says, do you run Gores or not? Perion might be thinking about a YOLO here. But he needs to, I guess maybe he's thinking about trying to Castell this, because he can't put this in the graveyard. If he puts it in the graveyard and attacks, any of his monsters are liable to just die. Now, personally, I would never expect the Shadow player to run Gores, because most Shadow players have switched over to Mistake in the main deck. So, like, if you're running Mistake and Shadow Core, that's like 4 continuous spells, or excuse me, that's 4 continuous traps. Like, I can't see you running Gores and running those cards. I mean, is it possible? Yeah, I guess, but I wouldn't expect somebody to be running Gores. Plus, I can see Gores just getting stuck in your hands so much. I guess Perion is ready to go YOLO. Wait, if he's ready to go YOLO, why is he setting cards? And like, oh, maybe he has Bubble Man. I'm like, he's like, yo, let's go. And I'm like, okay, well, why are you setting cards? If you're going YOLO, setting cards is definitely not what you want to do. You see him DD Crow the what's it called? The Veiler, just so he could get out of his hand. Which I guess means he had the Cerberus covered anyway. Alright, so I guess he is in fact going all in. Keep in mind, an Effect Veiler will totally blow this shit up like something fierce. You don't even know. Alright, so there is the Castell that was predictable. And there's the Effect Veiler. Okay, I think I said it in my other video, I don't believe in going YOLO, but we'll see if this works out for Perion. He took a -1 with the DD Crow, which he got no value out of. And even though Kevin took a -1 with the Effect Veiler, which is kind of canceled out by the neg of the Castell, I guess it's technically still even. So he is going to use Zephyros. He can still normal summon, because if I'm not mistaken, he's special summoned. So we'll see if he's able to play around that Effect Veiler. The problem is, I don't really think that he has another way of getting rid of this card. Most of the time, this deck only plays the one, like they only play like the one copy of Castell. If he's playing 2 Castell, then obviously he can still do it. He searches out another Bubble Man. Dude, if he's able to YOLO through that Effect Veiler, this man is like the fucking realist. Now, it sucks they didn't have Shockmaster in the TCG, right? Shockmaster Call Effects, right? Oh, he has Abyss Dweller. Fair enough. Looks like he's going to activate Abyss Dweller. Oh, keep in mind that Abyss Dweller is 2200, so he's kind of powered up. So, he'll attack with Zephyros and with Abyss Dweller, making sure that he can't activate Cerberus from the graveyard. The question is, does he have any... See, I thought maybe he might have had a back here. Like, I thought maybe he was going to have like potentially... What's that card I'm thinking of? I'm brain freezing. I thought maybe he was going to have like a Miracle Fusion back here or something like that. We see a Denko played. Oh, Lord. Please don't have Shadow Fusion. Oh, man. You gotta get the Chaos Trap Holes in there, guys. Gotta get Chaos Trap Holes in. This isn't the worst thing ever. It's not technically the worst thing ever. Because only Shadow Fusion, like, really beats you. Mainly because he doesn't have any, oh, well, shut up. I guess he did have Shadow Fusion. Now the best thing to do would be to chain that Abyss Dweller effect, obviously. I think you pretty much have to. So he's telling him to wait. Yeah, the only thing as far as I'll see, or that I see you can do, is chain the Abyss Dweller, so. Now the question becomes, can Kevin extend the play even further with maybe a Regeki, or what else would help? White Dragon, Black Dragon, those would help too. Those are the only cards I can honestly think of. Oh, Dark Arm Dragon obviously helps too. So he gets rid of Denko. This was all started by a YOLO attempt. I think Pyrion got a little impatient. Alright, so looks like he's going for Construct. I mean, he just really needs the body at this point. I guess the only thing you'd leave on board would be, I mean, do you leave the Zephyros on board, or do you leave the Abyss Dweller on board? Because you don't want your Denko getting attacked. But then if you leave the Zephyros on board, he could literally top deck a Shadow Mist and like wreck the fuck out of you. He could top deck a Shadow Mist, go into a rank 4, and get the effect of Shadow Mist, and that would not be good. But I mean, what rank 4s does he have left? Like Excalibur, like that didn't do anything here. You can attack. Oh no, wait, you can attack over Denko. I'm so dumb. You can attack over Denko and just win. You don't even think about Construct. Oh well, if he has Regeki, well that's just too good, right? Like fuck that. That is way too good. Now he's pretty much kind of only looking for like a Hero Lives. That's like the only card that would kind of save him here. I mean, I guess you could top deck your own Regeki or Dark Hole and try and go grind game, but with your opponent having like potentially way more monsters than you, like I don't know about that. So it all came down to this. And I guess that YOLO attempt didn't work out for him. I mean, he could have Mass Charge. No way, he hasn't played any Mass spells. It just sucks that all his back row is just locked down under Denko. And we see a scoop phase. Denko Sekka is just way too strong. And unfortunately, Kevin had the Denkos when he needed them. And yeah, I guess he had multiple Veilers. So, I mean, these YOLO attempts just weren't going to work. Thank you guys for watching as always.